Well, Kain Warwick is one of the richest crypto traders in Australia. Today, the founder of Synthetix spoke to Ed Boyd about how he's created a derivatives market for crypto. Now, think about this. It means even more leverage if you're buying crypto, more risk, and even the prospect of short selling the hottest game in town.
Obviously I live in Sydney, and I've been a member of Blockchain Australia for a long time. I think going back to like maybe 2016 from my work with Blue Shift, even before Synthetix. I'd like to get out and support the local conferences whenever there's something going on.
Okay, just talk me through Synthetix. What is it and how does it work?
So Synthetix is a derivatives platform. So it allows you to get exposure via crypto to a range of different assets. So things like gold, silver, Bitcoin, all on the Ethereum blockchain. So
say I'm a completely novice user. How would I interact with the program and buy some gold?
Yeah, so you would basically have an Ethereum wallet. Right, so if you need to start with that kind of level of understanding, and then you would go onto one of the exchanges like Quenta, and you would convert your Ether or a stable coin into synthetic gold, and then that synthetic gold token tracks the price of an ounce of gold over time.
And how long since it was launched, and what sort of user numbers are you getting right now?
The original contracts launched at the end of 2018, it's been 3.5 years now, sort of, and we've had billions of dollars worth of trading volume over that period. Trading volume on a daily basis is about like 10 to 20 million USD, but a week ago we just launched our first futures market, and that futures market allows you to have 10x leverage, so we expect that that's going to significantly increase volume over the spot trading that we've had for the last few years.
And what's the appeal of decentralized finance?
I think for most people the appeal is its accessibility. So you have very transparent rules that anyone anywhere with an internet connection can access. So you've got these systems for lending, for example, where you have Ether and you want to be able to borrow against it instead of sell it. So you can turn up to Aave no matter where you are in the world, as long as you've got an internet connection and you've got a crypto wallet, and you can borrow against your Ether stable coins to then go and do something like buy a house or buy a car or something like that.
Is that becoming a common form of borrowing?
I think it's becoming more common. In the early days, a lot of what was happening in DeFi and a lot of what was happening in crypto was very speculative in nature. Someone wasn't borrowing stable coins against their Ether to go and buy a car. They were borrowing it to go and speculate and buy more Ether or lever up or something like that. I think today there are more use cases that are in the real world. We hear stories all the time of people who, instead of taking out a mortgage, have gone and borrowed against their crypto assets to buy real world assets or something like that.
And how does Australia stack up in regards to crypto and blockchain technologies? Are we at the forefront?
Yeah, it was interesting. I was just on a panel with the guys from Bankless earlier this morning, and they asked the same question, how are we doing in Australia? I think today we're in a far better place than we were, say, 4 years ago. So 4 years ago, even just the general startup scene in Australia, I think, was not as robust as it is now. We've got a whole bunch of successful startups like Canva and Atlassian that have kind of created a dynamic where there's a bit of momentum, and I think the same thing's happening in crypto. Today, if you turn up to a VC and say that you're running out a project out of Australia, it's actually a really powerful kind of meme. VCs are like, oh, okay, that sounds good. Australia's a really good place to do crypto.
And what's your business goals for this year?
So Synthetix being not a business and being a protocol, I think is kind of makes that interesting, because I actually am not even an employee or anything like that of Synthetix. I'm a community member, and so my goals as a community member within Synthetix are basically to see this new futures market really take off. It's the first time that we've had a perpetual futures market that's been fully on-chain and composable, and so I think that there's going to be a whole bunch of things that people do with that over the next 6 to 12 months that it's going to be incredible to watch.
Is the futures market really affected by fluctuations in crypto prices due to global events that are happening around the world?
100%, yeah. So, obviously crypto is still a risk-on asset. And so, when you get into risk-off mode, when there's, war and other macro issues like interest rate, volatility, et cetera, the crypto market moves alongside that. And so, these futures markets, which are trading crypto assets, are obviously impacted by that. That said, volatility as an exchange is good, right? You want volatility because volatility creates high volumes and a lot of turnover. So I think from the perspective of like Synthetix, the futures project, we see volatility as a positive thing in the space.
Kain Warwick, thanks so much for your time.
My pleasure.